They told me I had 72 hours before my heat would break. 72 hours before four men, four alphas, would stop asking permission. We won't stop until our child is inside you, the eldest said, voice smooth as aged whiskey and twice as dangerous. He leaned against the floor-to-ceiling window of the penthouse, Seoul's Gangnam district glittering 40 stories below like scattered diamonds. Every night, every morning, however many times it takes, one of us will succeed. I stood in the center of their glass-walled living room, hands clenched so tight my nails cut crescents into my palms. 22 years old, architecture student, barista at a Hongdae cafe 3 days ago. Now, collateral in a deal I never signed. My family, my voice cracked. I hated that. Hated the tremor that made me sound exactly as terrified as I was. When your family's alive because you're standing here, the second alpha interrupted. He was built like violence wrapped in an expensive suit, all sharp angles and controlled aggression. A scar cut through his left eyebrow, pale against tan skin. Your brother's medical school debt? Erased? Your mother's restaurant lease? Paid for the next 5 years? Your father's gambling problem with the Jade Serpent Triad? He smiled, and it was the cruelest thing I'd ever seen. Let's just say they won't be removing his fingers anymore. The third alpha, pretty enough to be dangerous, with a smile that probably made people confess sins they hadn't committed yet, circled me slowly. You should be grateful, Minho. Most omegas in your position would already be chained to a bed. Minho. My name sounded wrong in his mouth. Too familiar. Too possessive. I didn't ask for your protection, I shot back, meeting his eyes, even though every omega instinct in my body screamed to look down. Submit. Survive. I asked for a loan. 20 million won. Not this. You walked into our office, the fourth alpha said quietly. He was younger than the others, late 20s maybe, with exhaustion carved into the shadows under his eyes. He hadn't looked at me once since I'd arrived. You knew who we were, what we do. I knew you were businessmen. We're the Choi family, the eldest interrupted, each syllable precise as a knife between ribs. We own half of Seoul's real estate, 3/4 of its nightlife, and every politician who matters. When you came begging for money, what exactly did you think would happen? My throat tightened, because he was right. I had known. Everyone in Seoul knew about the Choi brothers, about the empire built on blood and buried bodies, and power that made laws irrelevant. I'd walked into their Gangnam office wearing my best thrift store suit, hands shaking, desperation making me stupid. 20 million won to save my family. I'd been willing to do anything, just not this. Your Omega, the pretty one, Seojun I'd heard them call him, continued, still circling like a shark scenting blood. Unmated, 22, perfect age for conception. And your scent? He leaned closer, inhaling near my throat, and I jerked away so hard I stumbled. Rain and honey, addictive, the kind of scent that could make alphas kill each other just to get closer. That's why you're here, the eldest, Taejoon said simply. We need an heir. Our organization requires it. Divided between 4 brothers, our power is fractured. But a child, a legitimate bloodline, that changes everything, stabilizes succession, ends the internal wars. So you're going to rape me and call it business? The words came out sharp, bitter. I wanted them to flinch, wanted something human to flicker across their faces. Taejoon's expression didn't change. We're going to wait until your heat breaks your resistance. Then we're going to breed you, repeatedly, until you're pregnant. That's not rape, that's biology. The scar-faced one, Kangdae, checked his watch. 70 hours now. Your suppressants will fail soon. We can already smell it starting. That sweet edge underneath the rain, like fruit about to burst. My stomach turned. Because he was right, I could feel it too. The warmth building low in my belly. The way my skin felt too tight. I'd tripled my suppressant dose this morning, swallowing pills with shaking hands, but they were designed for normal heats. Not this. Not 4 alphas in confined space. Their combined scent so thick I could taste it, leather and whiskey, and something dark, magnetic, wrong. I have rights, I said, hating how desperate I sounded. Korea has laws. Korea has laws for people who matter. Seojun's smile widened. You're an omega from a nothing family with debt to a criminal organization. You think anyone will look for you? You think anyone cares? The youngest, Woojin, finally looked up, and something flickered in his dark eyes. Guilt? Regret? It vanished too quickly to tell. Your room is the third door on the left. You'll find clothes, toiletries, everything you need. Except freedom. Freedom is overrated, Taejoon said. She'd already turning away like I was dismissed, decided, done. Survival is what matters. Your family survives. You survive. Everyone wins. Except me? He paused at the hallway entrance, glancing back over his shoulder. For a moment, just one breath, I thought I saw something almost human cross his face. Then it was gone. 70 hours, Minho. I suggest you use them wisely. They left me standing alone in that golden cage, 40 stories above a city that would never hear me scream. But they'd made one mistake. One critical, stupid mistake. They'd assumed I was helpless. I let the thought settle as I stood alone in their pristine living room, surrounded by minimalist furniture that probably cost more than my entire education. Through the windows, soul sprawled beneath me like a circuit board, one all neon and movement and lives that would continue whether I lived or died in this glass tower. My hands were still shaking. I shoved them in my pockets before my body could betray more weakness. 70 hours. They'd given me 70 hours before my biology turned traitor and made their job easier. I walked to the third door on the left like they'd instructed, because what else was I going to do? Fight my way past 4 alphas and their security? Throw myself out a 40th-story window? Tempting, but I'd always been too stubborn to give anyone the satisfaction of my death. The room was obscene. King bed with silk sheets, attached bathroom larger than my family's entire apartment, a closet full of clothes in exactly my size, which meant they'd been planning this, watching me, probably for weeks. And the violation of it made my skin crawl. I locked the door. Not that it mattered. I'd seen the keypad outside. Biometric scanner. They could get in whenever they wanted. The lock was probably just another way to make me feel like I had control. Joke's on them. I'd stopped believing in control the day my father came home with broken fingers and blood on his shirt, explaining through tears that the Jade Serpent Triad wanted their money. That we had 2 weeks before they started taking payment in flesh. I'd gone to the Choi family because they were worse, because monsters afraid of bigger monsters sometimes made deals. I just hadn't expected to be the deal. My backpack sat on the bed where their security had placed it after searching every pocket. They'd confiscated my phone, my laptop, even the USB drive I'd hidden in the lining. But they'd missed something. I pulled out my biology textbook, flipped to chapter 14, and removed the small plastic case I'd tucked into the spine 3 months ago. Inside, 4 white pills, not suppressants, something better, heat blockers from the black market. The kind that didn't just delay heat, they stopped it completely for up to 2 weeks. Illegal because they messed with omega fertility. Dangerous because they could cause permanent damage if used too often. I'd bought them with my last paycheck just in case, because I'd grown up poor in soul, and poor omegas learned early that your body was currency. That men with money and power thought they could buy anything. I'd sworn I'd never be caught defenseless. I swallowed 2 pills dry, grimacing at the bitter taste. Within 6 hours, my heat would abort. Oh, they'd smell nothing but rain and honey. Clean, safe, mine. Let them wait their 70 hours. Let them expect me to break. I was going to burn their timeline to ash. A knock interrupted my vindictive satisfaction. What? I called out, not bothering to hide the hostility. Dinner, came Woojin's voice, the youngest, the one with guilt in his eyes. Kitchen, 10 minutes. I'm not hungry. Silence. Then quieter. You should eat anyway. Taejoon doesn't like disrupted schedules. Tell Taejoon he can choke on his schedule. I expected anger, threats. Instead, I heard something that might have been a laugh, cut off quickly. 10 minutes, Woojin repeated. Please. The please surprised me. I'd heard commands from them, threats, clinical explanations of how they planned to violate me, but not politeness. Curiosity won. I'd always been too nosy for my own good. The kitchen was all marble and stainless steel, designed by someone who'd never actually cooked. Taejoon stood at the island, reading something on his tablet. He didn't look up when I entered. Sit. I prefer standing. His eyes lifted. Dark, calculating, the kind of eyes that saw 3 moves ahead in every interaction. That wasn't a request. Weird because it sounded exactly like one. Seojun laughed from where he leaned against the counter, chopping vegetables with the ease of someone who actually knew his way around a knife. I like him. He's got teeth. He won't for long, Kangdae muttered, walking in with a bag of groceries. He dumped them on the counter with enough force to make the glass bottles rattle. His scarred eyebrow lifted when he saw me. Annie, you're still dressed. I glanced down at my jeans and oversized hoodie. Should I be naked? Is that part of the 70-hour countdown? He means you didn't change into the clothes we provided, Taejoon said, still not looking away from his tablet. Designer, expensive, tailored to fit. I'm comfortable in my own skin, thanks. Don't need your charity. It's not charity. Taejoon set the tablet down with deliberate precision. It's ownership. Everything in this penthouse belongs to us, including you. The sooner you accept that, the easier this becomes. My jaw clenched. I'm not a possession. Legally, Seojun smiled, that beautiful, dangerous smile. You kind of are. Your father signed documentation transferring guardianship as collateral for debt forgiveness. You're 22, nay, but unmated omegas under familial financial distress can be transferred under subsection 47 of the Omega Protection Act. That's not protection, that's slavery with paperwork. Semantics. He shrugged, going back to his vegetables. Tomato, tomato. Woojin entered last, carrying a pot of something that smelled incredible. His eyes met mine for half a second before sliding away. Guilt. Definitely guilt. Kimchi jjigae, he said quietly, setting it on the table. And rice, Taejoon, nothing fancy. The smell hit me hard. My stomach growled, betraying me. I hadn't eaten since yesterday, too anxious about the meeting with the Choi family to keep anything down. See? Seojun's grin widened. Even your body knows where it belongs. I wanted to throw something at his perfect face. Instead, I sat. Because I was going to need strength for what came next. And because the kimchi jjigae smelled really, really good. Taejoon sat at the head of the table like a king holding court. Kangdae took the seat to his right, Seojun to his left. Woojin hesitated, then sat beside me, close enough that I could smell his scent. Pine and something sharper. Clean. Less suffocating than the others. You cook? I asked him, spooning rice into my bowl. If I was going to be a prisoner, I might as well eat. Spite required calories. Sometimes, Woojin's voice was soft, careful, like he was afraid of saying the wrong thing. When I have time, which is never, Seojun interjected, reaching across the table to grab the pigeon. Woojin's our financial officer. I spend 16 hours a day making our dirty money look clean. Money laundering. I took a bite of stew. Okay. Damn, that was really good. Cool. Normal dinner conversation, Kangdae snorted, almost a laugh. He was watching me with those predator eyes, the scar through his eyebrow, making him look perpetually skeptical. You're mouthy for someone in your position. You're scary for someone who can't properly season soup. I nodded at his bowl. You didn't add enough gochugaru. It's bland. Silence dropped like a stone. Then Seojun burst out laughing. Full-bodied, genuine. Oh my God, he just insulted Kangdae's cooking. I love this. I didn't cook it, Kangdae said flatly. No, but you approved the recipe last week. Said it was perfect. Seojun was still grinning. Minho just called your palate basic. I called the soup bland. His palate is probably fine. Definitely basic, Seojun stage whispered. Kangdae's jaw tightened. For a second, I thought I'd crossed a line. Pushed too hard. Then he picked up the gochugaru container and dumped a spoonful into his soup. Tasted it. His expression didn't change. Better, he admitted grudgingly. I shouldn't have felt victorious. This wasn't a win. These men were still planning to force me into heat and rape me in 70 hours. 68 now. Probably less. But watching Kangdae's ears turn slightly pink felt like something. Where did you learn to cook? Woojin asked. His voice was still quiet, but there was curiosity underneath. Genuine. The way you identify the seasoning, that's specific knowledge. My mom owned a restaurant in Mapogu. Past tense hurt. We'd lost it 6 months ago when the debt started piling up. Nothing fancy. Kimchi jjigae, bibimbap, the usual, but she made everything from scratch. Taught me young. Mapogu, Taejoon repeated. He'd been silent this whole time, eating methodically while watching me like I was a lab specimen. Near Hongdae, not a question, a statement, which meant he already knew, had probably pulled my entire background before I'd even walked into his office. Yeah, near the university. I worked there between classes. I met his eyes, refused to look away. Architecture program, 3rd year, top of my class before I had to drop out to keep my family from being murdered. You didn't drop out, Taejoon said calmly. We paid your tuition through the end of the semester. You're on academic leave, not expelled. I blinked. What? Check your university portal. Your professors have been notified of a family emergency. Your scholarship is intact. Assignments extended. He took another bite of stew. We're not barbarians, Minho. You'll finish your degree. How generous. I can study architecture between forced inseminations. Seojun choked on his rice, started coughing. Woojin patted his back, looking torn between concern and embarrassment. You have a sharp tongue, Taejoon observed. Most omegas in your position would be crying, begging. You're making jokes. Who says I'm joking? His eyes narrowed. Are you always this difficult? Only when I'm being held hostage by mobsters who think they can buy human beings. I smiled. Sweet. Poisonous. But sure, I'm the difficult one. Kangdae was staring at me like I'd grown a second head. You really don't have a sense of self-preservation, do you? I have a great sense of self-preservation. It's just telling me that rolling over and playing dead won't save me. I pushed my empty bowl away. You're going to do what you want regardless. Might as well go down swinging. Go down swinging, Seojun repeated slowly. That's actually kind of hot. Do not, Woojin said sharply. Seojun, don't. What? I'm just saying the kid's got fire. It's attractive. The kid is sitting right here and can hear you objectifying him. I'm 22, not a kid. You're 12 years younger than Taejoon, Woojin said quietly. To us, that's young. I looked at Taejoon. Really looked. He was older than I'd first thought. Late 30s, maybe. The silver at his temples wasn't premature. It was earned. Stress. Violence. Whatever came with running a criminal empire. How old are the rest of you? I asked. Might as well know my captors. 34, Kangdae said. 32, Seojun added cheerfully. 29. Woojin's voice was barely audible. So, youngest by 7 years. Still older than me. Still an alpha. Still complicit. And you all just decided together that kidnapping an Omega was a good business strategy? We didn't kidnap you. Taejoon's voice was ice. Your father signed legal documentation? Under duress, from the Jade Serpent Triad, who you have connections with. His expression flickered, just for a second. Surprise, maybe respect. You're smarter than your file suggested, he said. My file? I laughed, bitter, sharp. Of course you have a file on me. What's it say? Poor Omega, desperate family. The easy target? It says you tested in the top 2% nationally in spatial reasoning, that you won 3 architecture competitions before age 20, that you take care of your family even when they don't deserve it. Taejoon stood, collecting dishes. It says you're talented, loyal, self-sacrificing. Sounds like you're describing a dog. Seojun snorted into his water. It also says, Taejoon continued, ignoring the interruption, that you're unmated, unattached, no romantic history, which makes you perfect. My stomach dropped. Perfect for what? His smile was a knife. For carrying a bloodline with no competing loyalties. The heat blockers in my system suddenly felt very, very important. Competing loyalties, I repeated, standing so fast my chair scraped against the marble. You mean you want a child who won't have another parent to run to? No one to protect them from you. We mean, Kangdae said, standing too, that divided bloodlines cause wars. Our father had 3 mistresses, 7 children total. 4 of us survived to adulthood. Barely. The weight in those words stopped me cold. Your brothers? I asked. Dead. 2 killed each other over territory when we were teenagers. One overdosed after our father beat him half to death for showing weakness. Kangdae's scarred eyebrow twitched. The four of us learned early. Unity or extinction. Seojun was still smiling, but it had gone brittle around the edges. Hence the need for one heir. Clean succession, no ambiguity about who inherits what. You're insane, all of you. I looked at each of them. Well, you can't just manufacture a dynasty from kidnapping and forced pregnancy. People have built empires on worse, Taejoon said, loading dishes into the sink. Watching him do something as domestic as washing plates while discussing human trafficking was deeply surreal. At least we're being honest about our methods. Oh, well, points for honesty. That makes the rape so much more ethical. Woojin flinched. Actually flinched. Good. I wanted it to hurt. It's not rape if your body wants it, Seojun said, that beautiful, dangerous smile back in place. And trust me, Minho, when your heat breaks, your body's going to be begging for it. My body doesn't speak for me. Biology speaks louder than pride. He moved closer, not threatening, just present. His scent rolled over me, citrus and something darker, addictive, wrong. You can hate us all you want, but when the fever hits, when every nerve ending is screaming for an alpha's knot, you're going to forget all about your moral superiority. I should have backed away, should have shown fear. Instead, I stepped into his space, close enough to see gold flecks in his brown eyes. You really think you're the first alpha who's tried to intimidate me with biology? My voice came out steady, cold. I've been dealing with entitled alphas since I presented at 16. Teachers who thought my slick meant consent. Classmates who followed me home during preheat. A landlord who tried to negotiate rent with my body. I smiled, sharp. I'm still here, still unmated, still mine. What makes you think you'll be any different? Something flickered across Seojun's face. Not anger, something else. Respect, maybe. Dun, you're not what I expected, he admitted quietly. Yeah, well, you're exactly what I expected. Pretty face, empty threats, probably mediocre in bed. Kangdae choked on air. Taejoon's hands stilled in the soapy water. Seojun's smile widened into something genuine. Delighted. Oh, you're fun. I'm definitely keeping you. I'm not a pet. No, you're much more interesting than a pet. He reached out like he was going to touch my face. I caught his wrist. Fast. My architecture classes included a self-defense seminar after 2 Omega students were assaulted on campus. I'd paid attention. His eyes widened. Quick. Motivated. I released him. Touch me without permission again, and I'll break your fingers. With what leverage? You're half my size. Leverage is just applied physics. And I'm very good at physics. Taejoon was watching us with that calculating expression. Seojun, back off. I'm just talking to him. You're antagonizing him. There's a difference. Seojun raised his hands in surrender, still grinning. Fine, fine, I'll behave. You don't know how to behave, Woojin muttered, clearing the rest of the table. He moved carefully around me, like I might break or bite, probably both. Can I ask you something? I directed the question at Woojin. He seemed the least likely to answer with threats or innuendo. He paused, dishes balanced in his arms. Okay. Why me, specifically? There are thousands of unmated Omegas in Seoul, probably hundreds who'd volunteer for this if you paid them enough. I gestured at the penthouse. You clearly have money. Why go through the trouble of legal coercion? Woojin glanced at Taejoon. Some silent communication passed between them. Tell him, Taejoon said, drying his hands. He'll find out eventually. Woojin set the dishes down carefully. When he looked at me, his dark eyes were tired, so tired. Because you're compatible with all 4 of us, scent-wise. He ran a hand through his black hair. It's rare. Usually an Omega is compatible with 1, maybe 2 alphas in their lifetime. But you, he trailed off. I smell right to all of you, I finished flatly. Not just right. Perfect. Kangdae's voice was rough. Like you were designed for us. Rain and honey. It cuts through every other scent. Makes everything else irrelevant. My skin crawled. So you're saying biology made me your collective soulmate, and that justifies slavery. We're saying Taejoon corrected. That out of 8 million people in Seoul, you're the only one who could carry a child for all four of us without your body rejecting the bond. The only one who could potentially stabilize our bloodline permanently. By potentially, you mean you don't actually know if this will work? Silence. Oh my God, I laughed, slightly hysterical. You don't even know if I can get pregnant from multiple alphas. This is an experiment. Every first pregnancy is an experiment, Seojun offered, not one conducted by kidnappers. We prefer the term protective investors, he said. I prefer the term going to hell. I headed for my room. I needed space, air, not distance from their sense and their logic, and the way Woojin's guilt was almost worse than the other's indifference. Minho, Taejoon's voice stopped me at the hallway. 65 hours. I didn't turn around, just kept walking. Behind me, I heard Woojin say quietly, he's stronger than his file suggested. Good, Taejoon replied. He'll need to be. I slammed my bedroom door hard enough to rattle the frame. Childish, pointless, satisfying. My hands were shaking again. I pressed them against the cool wood, forcing myself to breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth, the way my therapist taught me before I had to quit sessions because we couldn't afford them anymore. Compatible with all four of them. Perfect scent match. Biological destiny wrapped up in a neat little bow. Oddly, except they didn't know about the heat blockers dissolving in my bloodstream right now. Didn't know that in a few hours, their precious timeline would mean nothing. I'd smell clean and unbonded for at least 2 weeks. Long enough to figure out an escape plan. Long enough to find leverage. I turned to face the obscene bedroom and froze. Woojin stood in the corner by the window, silent, still. How long had he been there? Jesus Christ, my heart slammed against my ribs. Do you people not believe in privacy? The door was open when I came in earlier, to bring your bags. He didn't move from his position, just watched me with those exhausted eyes. I stayed. That's called stalking. I wanted to apologize. His voice was so quiet I almost didn't hear it. For all of this, you didn't deserve it. I stared at him. We're looking for the trick, the manipulation. But his face was just tired and young. 29 wasn't that much older than me, really. Close enough that in another life, another context, we might have been friends. If you're actually sorry, I said carefully, you could let me go. I can't. Can't or won't. His jaw tightened. Both. If you run, the Jade Serpent Triad gets your family. That was part of the agreement. We protect them as long as you stay. So I'm a hostage. You're protected. He finally moved, crossing to sit on the edge of the bed, far enough away to not be threatening. There's a difference. Not from where I'm standing. He looked down at his hands. Long fingers. No rings. No visible scars like Kangdae. My mother was an Omega, sold to my father when she was 19 to settle her family's debt. She had me. Then my father got bored and married an alpha woman for political connections. My mother died when I was 7. Overdose. Pills. His voice cracked slightly. I found her. The air left my lungs. Woojin, I don't want that for you. He looked up, and there were tears in his eyes. He was trying to blink away. I know what we're doing is wrong. I know it's monstrous. But if you cooperate, if you survive this, we'll give you everything. Money, education, freedom within limits. Your family will never struggle again. Within limit, I repeated. So still a cage, just a nicer one. Yes. At least he was honest. I sat down beside him, not close enough to touch, but close enough to see the shadows under his eyes, the way his shoulders curved inward like he was trying to disappear. How do you live with it? I asked. You knowing you're doing to me what was done to your mother? I don't sleep much, he smiled. It was the saddest thing I'd ever seen. And I tell myself that at least we're keeping you alive. At least you'll have choices she didn't. At least what? At least maybe you'll hate us a little less if we try to be human about it. A laugh bubbled up, bitter. Human? You want credit for being human while planning to rape me? I know how it sounds. Do you? Because from here it sounds like you want me to absolve you, to make you feel better about participating in my imprisonment. I stood, putting distance between us. I'm not your therapist, Woojin. I'm not here to help you process your guilt. I know, he stood too. I just, I wanted you to know that not all of us are monsters. Some of us are just too weak to stop the ones who are. That's almost worse. His face crumpled, just for a second. Then he pulled the mask back up, composed, distant. 64-hour, he said. After that, I can't protect you from them, from what they'll do. I don't need your protection. Something flickered in his expression. Curiosity. You're very confident for someone with no leverage. My heart skipped. Had I given something away? Did he suspect? I have plenty of leverage, I said, keeping my voice light. I could bite, scratch, make it as unpleasant as possible. They'd just restrain you. Then I'd go limp, make them work for every second. His lips twitched, almost a smile. You really don't quit, do you? Quitting is what they want. I'm naturally contrary. This time he did smile. Small, genuine. Or I noticed. We stood there in strange silence. Not comfortable, but not entirely hostile either. Can I ask you something? Woojin's voice was careful. Your scent, earlier at dinner, it changed for a second. Got sharper, colder, like, he trailed off, eyes narrowing. Like you were masking something. My blood turned to ice. I don't know what you're talking about. Minho. He stepped closer. Not threatening, just intent. I handle our finances. That includes tracking purchases, black market suppressants, heat blockers. I know which pharmacies sell them, which doctors prescribe them illegally, which omegas are desperate enough to use them despite the risks. Oh no. I manage our organization's money, he continued quietly. I see everything, every transaction, every anomaly. His eyes locked on mine. 3 months ago, and someone matching your description bought military-grade heat blockers from a clinic in Itaewon. Paid cash, used a fake name. My mouth went dry. But the security footage, he said, pulling out his phone, was very clear. He showed me the screen. There I was, grainy but unmistakable, leaving the clinic with a small plastic bag. You took them tonight, Woojin said. Not a question. A statement. Didn't you? I couldn't breathe. He knew. My brain scrambled for a lie, an excuse, anything. But Woojin was still looking at me with those tired, knowing eyes, waiting. So what now? My voice came out steadier than I felt. You going to tell them? Get me restrained and force-fed fertility drugs until your timeline works again? He stared at the phone in his hand, at my grainy image frozen on the screen. Then he deleted it. Right in front of me, swipe, delete, confirm, gone. What are you doing? I whispered. I told you, I don't want you to end up like my mother. He pocketed the phone. The blockers will buy you 2 weeks, maybe 3 if you're lucky. Use that time. Use it for what? To make them see you as human, not just biology. His voice dropped lower. Taejoon's not unreasonable. He's just focused, driven. If you can prove you're more valuable, conscious and willing than drugged and compliant, he'll listen. And if I can't, Woojin's silence was answer enough. Why are you helping me? I asked. What's in it for you? Nothing. Maybe that's the point. He moved toward the door, paused with his hand on the frame. My mother spent 12 years in a cage. I watched her disappear piece by piece until there was nothing left but pills and bathtubs. I can't stop this, but maybe I can make it different. Less lethal. Woojin. He looked back. Thank you, I said, meaning it, for the footage, for not telling them. Something painful crossed his face. Don't thank me yet. I'm still complicit, still part of this. Deleting evidence doesn't change that. No, but it's something. He left without another word. I stood alone in the ridiculous bedroom, heart hammering, mind racing. 2 weeks. I had 2 weeks before my biology betrayed me, 2 weeks to become indispensable, 2 weeks to find leverage they couldn't ignore. I pulled out my phone. Wait. No, they'd confiscated my phone. But the room had a laptop on the desk, probably monitored, definitely tracked. I opened it anyway. When, as expected, most sites were blocked, social media, email, messaging apps, but they'd left access to academic databases, library resources, research journals, because they wanted me to finish my degree. Stupid, arrogant, perfect. I pulled up the university portal, logged in with my student credentials, and there it was. Just like Taejoon said, academic leave approved, professors notified, assignments extended, but something else caught my eye. A message from Professor Kim, my advanced structures teacher. Minho, I heard about your family emergency. I'm so sorry. I wanted you to know that the Hanak restoration project is still available if you want it when you return. The client specifically requested you after seeing your portfolio. Contact me when you're ready. Take care of yourself. The Hanak project. Get a private client wanted a historical home restored in Bukchon, traditional Korean architecture, 6-month timeline, significant budget, an idea sparked, dangerous, possibly stupid, but maybe. I heard footsteps in the hallway, heavy, deliberate, Kangdae. I closed the laptop just as he appeared in my doorway. He didn't knock, just leaned against the frame, arms crossed, that scarred eyebrow raised. You locked yourself in here for 20 minutes. Plotting escape? Plotting your murder, actually. Trying to decide between poison and blunt force trauma. His mouth twitched. Blunt force would be more satisfying. See? You get me. He pushed off the doorframe, walking into my space like he owned it, which legally he probably did. Woojin was in here a long time. What did you two talk about? Childhood trauma and ethical philosophy. Light stuff. He told you about his mother. Not a question. Yeah. Kangdae's expression darkened. He gets sentimental, forgets that mercy is weakness in our world. Or maybe mercy is the only thing that keeps you human. Being human is overrated. He moved to the window, looking out over Seoul's glittering sprawl. Humans feel guilt, regret, pain. Monsters just survive. You're not a monster. He laughed, sharp, bitter. You don't know me. I know you season your soup wrong, and you let me insult you at dinner without breaking my fingers. That's pretty human. Give it time. But his voice was softer. You'll see what we're capable of. I joined him at the window, keeping distance but present. What happened to you? To make you like this? Like what? Sad. Pretending to be scary. His jaw clenched. For a long moment I thought he wouldn't answer. Then, our father used to test us. Put us in rooms together. Last one standing got dinner. The others went hungry. His scarred eyebrow twitched. I was 12 the first time I broke Seojun's arm. 13 when I dislocated Taejoon's shoulder. By 15 I'd stopped counting. My stomach turned. That's horrific. That's legacy. Tradition. The Choi family way. He turned to look at me. You think we're monsters for what we're doing to you? We learn from the best. That's not an excuse. No, it's an explanation. He stepped closer. Close enough I could see the scar tissue around his eyebrow was old. Childhood old. You want to know why I'm here? Why I'm part of this? Yeah, because when our father died, Taejoon could have killed us, eliminated competition, taken everything. But he didn't. He said we were stronger together. That family was the only thing that mattered. Kangdae's voice cracked. He saved my life. Seojun's. Woojin's. I owe him everything. So you pay him back by helping him commit crimes. I pay him back by keeping him alive. I studied his face, the scar, the shadows, the exhaustion. You're all broken, I said quietly. Yes. And you think a baby will fix that? No. We think a bloodline will protect us from becoming our father, from turning on each other when things get hard. He looked away. We think maybe if we build something together, we won't destroy each other. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Welcome to the family. Before I could respond, the window exploded. Glass erupted inward in a spray of glittering shards. I barely registered the sound before Kangdae slammed into me, taking us both to the ground. His body covered mine completely, heavy and solid and smelling like leather and adrenaline. Gunfire. Sharp cracks splitting the air. Bullets punching through walls. Someone screaming in the hallway. Stay down, Kangdae growled against my ear. His weight pressed me into the carpet. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. More gunfire. Closer now. The lights cut out. Emergency backup flickered on, bathing everything in red. Kangdae, Taejoon's voice from somewhere in the penthouse. Status. Bedroom, Omega secure. Kangdae shifted, pulling a gun from somewhere. When had he been armed? 3 shooters, maybe 4. Southeast positions. Jade Serpent, came Seojun's voice, crackling through what sounded like a radio. They found us. My brain couldn't process. The Jade Serpent triad, the ones who'd wanted to kill my family. They were here. Now. Why? I managed to gasp out under Kangdae's weight. Because we took their collateral. He was scanning the room, gun raised. Your father's debt was theirs. We bought it. They don't like competition. So this is about money? This is about power. He hauled me up by my arm. And you're the leverage. Move, now. He dragged me toward the door. I stumbled over broken glass, feet catching on carpet. My architectural brain noticed absurdly that the room's feng shui was completely destroyed. We made it to the hallway. Taejoon was there, also armed, blood streaking his white shirt. Not his blood, I realized. Someone else's. Basement, he ordered. Panic room, now. What about Woojin? I asked. Where's Woojin? Financial records. Seojun appeared from a side hallway, laptop tucked under his arm, gun in the other hand. Securing assets before they torch the place. They're going to burn it? My voice pitched higher. Your home? It's insured. Taejoon grabbed my other arm. Now I had 2 alphas hauling me through chaos. Move faster. We hit the stairwell, started descending. Behind us, more gunfire. Shouting in Korean, a language I understood but wished I didn't. Kill the Choi brothers. Find the Omega. Burn everything else. My legs locked up. They know about me. Of course they know, Kangdae said, practically carrying me now. You think we're the only ones who track vulnerable Omegas? They've had eyes on you for months. Then why didn't they take me first? Because we're better at this than they are, Taejoon said. We burst into the basement, steel reinforced, climate controlled, and at the far end, a massive vault door. Woojin was already there, fingers flying over a keypad. His face was pale, eyes wide with panic. They cut our external security. I can't reach our backup teams. Then we hold them here until reinforcements arrive, Taejoon said. How long? Seojun asked. 20 minutes, maybe 30. The vault door hissed open. Woojin ushered us inside. The panic room was exactly what it sounded like. Reinforced walls, emergency supplies, weapons rack, communications equipment, and no windows. The door sealed behind us with a sound like a coffin closing. Cozy, I said, voice shaking. Very apocalypse chic, Seojun laughed. Actually laughed. He's making jokes. During a firefight. It's either jokes or screaming. Pick one. Jokes are better, Woojin said quietly, pulling me toward a corner. Sit. Stay away from the door. I sat. My hands were shaking. The heat blockers in my system were still working, keeping my scent neutral. But adrenaline was doing something weird to my body chemistry, making everything sharper, louder. I could hear the gunfire through the walls, muffled but persistent. Why do they want me so badly? I asked. If my family's debt is paid, what's the point? The 4 of them exchanged glances. Tell him, Woojin said. He deserves to know. Taejoon's jaw tightened. Well, your scent signature isn't just compatible with us. It's rare, extremely rare. The kind of scent that appears maybe once in a generation. So there are organizations that collect rare Omegas, auction them, use them for breeding programs. His voice was ice. The Jade Serpent runs one of the largest operations in Asia. When your scent profile hit the black market databases, you became valuable. Not just to us, to everyone. My stomach dropped. I'm on a database? Every Omega who visits a fertility clinic gets logged. It's illegal, but it happens. Woojin's voice was gentle. Your university required health screenings. They took blood samples, ran hormonal panels, and sold my information. Welcome to being Omega in a world run by alphas, Seojun said bitterly. When your body is commodity before you even know you have value. An explosion rocked the building. The lights flickered. They're using grenades. Kangdae said, checking his weapon. This isn't a retrieval mission anymore. They're planning to destroy everything and sift through the ashes. They'll kill you, I said, looking at the four of them. All of you. Just to get to me? Yes, Taejoon said simply. That's insane. That's business. Another explosion. Closer. The panic room's ventilation system kicked on, filtering smoke. We're not going to die here, Woojin said, but his voice shook. Right? Taejoon? Tell me we have a plan. Before Taejoon could answer, my head exploded with pain. Not physical pain, something else. Something inside my skull, pressing outward, demanding space. And suddenly I could hear them. Not with my ears, with my mind. They're scared. All four of them. Terrified, but trying to hide it. Woojin thinks we're going to die. Kangdae is calculating odds. Seojun is praying to a god he doesn't believe in. And Taejoon is planning which of them he'll sacrifice to save me. I gasped, clutching my head. Minho! Woojin was beside me instantly. What's wrong? I stared at them. At four alphas who suddenly felt transparent, exposed. I can hear you. Your thoughts. All of you. Silence, then Seojun. That's not possible. Test me, I said. Think of something. Anything. Seojun's eyes narrowed. He concentrated. Pink elephants dancing on ice skates. Pink elephants on ice skates, I repeated. His face went white. Holy shit, Kangdae breathed. He's telepathic. I'm what? My head was still throbbing. Their thoughts crashing against my skull like waves. Too many voices. Too much information. This changes everything, Taejoon thought, and I heard it clear as speech. We can't let the Jade Serpent know from Woojin, panicked and sharp. He's been holding out on us. Seojun's mental voice was impressed. Smart kid. Stop, I gasped, pressing my palms against my temples. Stop thinking so loud. We're not trying to think loud, Kangdae said. Can you actually hear all of us? Yes, all of you, all at once. It's like being in a room where everyone's shouting. I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to find some kind of mental volume control. Make it stop. We don't know how, Woojin said helplessly. We didn't even know you could do this. Neither did I. The pressure built, their fears, their calculations, their desperate hope that I was valuable enough to die for. This has never happened before. Stress trigger, Taejoon thought. Clinical, even in crisis. Extreme danger activates latent abilities. It's documented in Omega psychology journals. Rare but not unprecedented. Stop analyzing me and start thinking about how to get us out of here, I snapped. Another explosion. The walls shuddered. 8 hostiles outside came a thought I didn't recognize. Foreign, violent, cold. I gasped. There are 8 of them. Outside the panic room. They know we're in here. All 4 alphas stared at me. How do you know that? Taejoon demanded. Because I can hear them too. One of them is thinking in Korean. Oh God. My stomach turned. He's thinking about what they'll do to me when they break through. How much I'll sell for. And how many alphas will bid. Kangdae moved to the weapons rack, started loading magazines. Can you hear their positions? I tried to focus past the nausea, reached out with whatever this new sense was. The hostile thoughts were different from the Choi brothers. Sharper, more aggressive, less conflicted. 4 by the door, 2 covering the stairwell. One's planting something. Explosives, I think. He's thinking about blast radius and structural integrity. They're going to blow the door, Seojun said. How long do we have? Taejoon was already moving, pulling equipment from storage. Kevlar vests, more ammunition. I pushed deeper into the hostile mind. His thoughts were methodical, professional. 3 minutes, maybe less. He's waiting for everyone to get clear of the blast zone. Can you do more than just listen? Woojin's thought was tentative, hopeful. I looked at him. What do you mean? Can you push back, send thoughts, confuse them? I don't know. I've had this ability for approximately 4 minutes. Try, Taejoon thought, urgent. If you can buy us time, we can fight our way out. I focused on the demolitions expert. His mind felt different than the Choi brothers. Slippery, harder to grasp. But I could feel the edges of his consciousness. What if I just pushed? The detonator isn't armed yet. You need to check the wiring. The thought wasn't mine. I sent it like throwing a stone into his mental pool. Outside, muffled through the walls, I heard someone curse in Korean. Footsteps moving away from the door. It worked, I whispered. He's checking the detonator. Kangdae's scarred eyebrows shot up. You just mind-controlled a hostile. I suggested, there's a difference. Semantics. Seojun was grinning now, wild and dangerous. Do it again. Make them paranoid. Make them turn on each other. I reached for another mind. This one belonged to the leader. His thoughts were colder, more controlled. The Choi brothers have reinforcements coming. We should abort. But his actual voice said something else. I could hear it through his own ears. Hold position. The Omega is worth the risk. So his conscious mind was overriding my suggestion. Stronger will. Damn. The leader's resistant, I said. I can't get through. Then target the weaker ones, Taejoon ordered, pulling on a vest. He tossed one to me. Make them doubt. Make them afraid. I tried again. Younger, hostile, less experienced. His thoughts were scattered, anxious. Well, you're going to die here. The Choi family never leaves witnesses. He shifted nervously. I felt his fear spike. Your brother died in a raid like this. Remember? You watched him bleed out. His hands started shaking. One of them is breaking, I reported. He's scared. Good, Kangdae said. Fear makes people sloppy. The building shook again. Closer. They were working their way through the upper floors. 10 minutes until reinforcements, came a new thought. Familiar. One of the Choi brothers' security team, fighting on the floors above us. Your backup is 10 minutes out, I told Taejoon. Can we hold for 10 minutes? Woojin asked. Taejoon's expression was grim. We don't have a choice. Yes, we do, I said, an idea forming. Reckless, stupid, possibly brilliant. What if I make them think I'm not here? 4 pairs of eyes locked on me. Explain, Taejoon said. I project into all of their minds at once. Make them believe the panic room is empty, that you already evacuated me through a secret tunnel or something. I was talking faster now, thoughts racing. They waste time searching the building instead of breaking in here. Buys you your 10 minutes. That's 8 minds you'd have to control simultaneously, Woojin said. You've been telepathic for 5 minutes. So it's ambitious? I'm an overachiever. It could kill you, Taejoon thought. That much mental strain on an untrained mind. So could getting shot when they break through that door, I pointed out. Seojun laughed. I really do like you. If we're doing this, Kangdae said, do it now. And before they finish rigging explosives, I took a breath, centered myself the way I used to before architecture exams, focused. Then I reached out to all 8 hostile minds at once. The pain was immediate, blinding, like my skull was cracking open from the inside. But I pushed through. The panic room is empty. The Omega was evacuated 10 minutes ago. You're wasting time. I felt the thoughts sink into their minds like stones into water. Felt their confusion, their doubt. It's working, I gasped. Blood was dripping from my nose. When had that started? They're pulling back, regrouping. How long can you hold it? Taejoon asked. I don't know, it hurts. It really hurts. Woojin was beside me, supporting my weight. You're bleeding, your nose, your ears. Just need a few more minutes. The world tilted. Woojin's arms caught me before I hit the ground. 9 minutes, I heard Taejoon think. Just hold for 9 more minutes. I held. The world came back in pieces. Soft sheets, antiseptic smell, warmth against my left side. I opened my eyes to find myself in a hospital bed. Private room, expensive equipment beeping steadily, and Woojin asleep in the chair beside me, his hand wrapped around mine. You're awake, came Taejoon's voice from the doorway. He looked exhausted, rumpled suit, dark circles under his eyes. Good. You've been out for 18 hours. Did we... My throat was raw. Did we survive? You held them off for 12 minutes. Our reinforcements arrived. The Jade Serpent team retreated. He moved closer, studying my face with that calculating expression. You saved our lives, Minho. Cool. Does that mean I get to leave now? His mouth twitched, almost a smile. No, but it does mean we need to renegotiate our arrangement. Woojin stirred, eyes opening. When he saw me awake, relief flooded his face. You're okay, thank God. We thought, the doctors said the mental strain could have caused permanent damage. My brain feels like scrambled eggs, but I'm alive. I squeezed his hand. What arrangement? Taejoon pulled up a chair, sat. For once, he didn't look like a crime lord, just a tired man trying to solve an impossible equation. You're telepathic. That makes you the most valuable asset in Seoul's underworld. His voice was matter-of-fact. Every organization will want you. The Jade Serpent, the Yakuza, the Triads in Hong Kong. You'll never be safe. So I'm still a prisoner, just a different kind. Or, he said carefully, you stay with us, willingly, as family, not collateral. I stared at him. Family. We protect you. You use your abilities to help us navigate threats. Everyone wins. Except I don't get a choice about the whole pregnancy thing. Actually, Woojin interrupted softly. You do. Taejoon's jaw tightened. Woojin. No, he deserves honesty. Woojin looked at me. After you passed out, we had a meeting, all four of us, about what kind of people we want to be, what kind of family we want to build. Kangdae appeared in the doorway, Seojun behind him. Both looked uncharacteristically serious. We're not our father, Kangdae said. We don't want to be. Seojun moved to the foot of the bed. So we made a decision. No forced pregnancy, no biological deadline. If you want to carry our child someday, it'll be because you chose it, not because we coerced you. My heart stuttered. You're serious? Completely, Taejoon said. We still want you to stay, to be part of our family, but on your terms. What terms? Woojin smiled. You finish your architecture degree. We fund your projects. You design buildings that matter. And you help us transition the organization from criminal enterprise to legitimate business. Using my telepathy to read competitors, I said slowly. Using your telepathy to keep us honest, Taejoon corrected, to make sure we don't slide back into our father's patterns, to be our conscience when we forget we have one. I looked at each of them, four broken alphas trying desperately to be better than their bloodline. And if I say no, then we set you up somewhere safe. A new identity, full scholarship, your family's debts cleared. You walk away clean. Taejoon's expression was unreadable. But we'd prefer you stayed. Why? Because you make us want to be human again, Woojin said quietly. Seojun nodded. Because you're funny and brave, and you called Kangdae's cooking bland. It was bland, I muttered. Kangdae's scarred eyebrow twitched. Because you're the first person in a decade who wasn't afraid of us, and we liked it. Taejoon stood, moving to the window. Because in 12 minutes, you became more family than our father ever was in 30 years, and we don't want to lose that. The room fell silent except for the heart monitor. I thought about my crappy apartment in Mapogu, my dreams of designing buildings, my family's restaurant that didn't exist anymore. I thought about four alphas who'd started as kidnappers and ended as something else, something complicated, something almost like chosen family. I have conditions, I said finally. Taejoon turned. Name them. 1, I finished my degree, full academic freedom, no interference. Agreed. 2, my family never knows the real reason I'm here. As far as they're concerned, I got a job with your company, legal, normal. Done. 3, the heat blockers stay. My choice when and if I ever go off them. Taejoon hesitated, then nodded. Agreed. 4, you dismantle every trafficking operation you have connections to. I don't care how profitable they are. They end. That will make us enemies, Kangdae warned. Good. I'd rather have enemies with morals than allies without them. Seojun grinned. I told you he had teeth. And 5, I said, looking at each of them. If I stay, we do this right. No more secrets. No more treating me like property. We build something real. Something that doesn't end in bathtubs and pills. Woojin's breath hitched. We can do that, Taejoon said, if you're willing to try. I'm willing to try not killing you in your sleep. We can work up from there. Kangdae laughed. Actually laughed. Deep and genuine. Deal, Taejoon said, extending his hand. I took it. 18 months later, the Bukchon Hanak stood complete. Traditional Korean architecture blended with modern accessibility. My design, my vision, my legacy. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was small, just family. Woojin held my hand while the mayor gave a speech about historical preservation. Kangdae stood behind us, protective as always. Seojun was taking photos, documenting everything. And Taejoon was watching me with something that looked like pride. You did it, he said quietly. Top marks, published thesis, and now this. We did it, I corrected. I designed it. Your money built it. Team effort. My phone buzzed. A message from my mom. So proud of you, my brilliant son. Your father cried when he saw the photos. I smiled. They thought I was just a successful architect working for a wealthy firm. They didn't need to know about the telepathy, the former kidnapping, the crime empire slowly becoming legitimate. Some truths were better as secrets. Minho, Woojin's voice pulled me back. You okay? Yeah. I squeezed his hand. Just thinking about how weird my life got. Good weird or bad weird? Seojun asked, slinging an arm around my shoulders. Till jury's still out, Kangdae snorted. You're still here, that's something. I'm still here because you idiots grew on me, like mold. Romantic, Taejoon said dryly, but he was smiling, actually smiling. We stood together in front of the building I'd designed, 5 people who shouldn't have worked, who'd started in violence and coercion and impossible choices, who'd somehow become family anyway. Hey, I said suddenly, I've been thinking. Dangerous, Seojun teased, about the heir thing, the bloodline. 4 alphas went very, very still. I'm not ready now, maybe not for years, but someday, I looked at each of them. Someday when I choose it freely, I think I'd like that. Building a family, with all of you. Woojin's eyes filled with tears. Kangdae's hand found my shoulder. Steady, warm. Issa Seojun's grin could have lit soul. And Taejoon crossed the distance between us and very carefully, very gently, pulled me into a hug. Thank you, he whispered against my hair, for choosing us. Thank you for becoming worth choosing, I whispered back. We stood like that. 5 people, 1 family, built not on force or biology or destiny, but on choice. And that made all the difference. Hey, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching till the end. Minho and the Choi brothers' journey was intense, right? From captivity to chosen family, from fear to love, from 4 broken alphas and 1 sassy omega to something beautiful and real. If you love this story and want more emotionally charged, plot twist-filled M/M omegaverse content, just like this, smash that subscribe button. We've got tons more stories coming your way. Drop a comment below telling me, would you have stayed with the Choi brothers? What was your favorite moment? And where are you watching from? I love hearing from you.